This is Sasha Mutai, running for chairman of the Kenya Rugby Union, and you're watching Three Quarters Podcast.
Episode 16, part 2 of the Three Quarters Podcast. Today we are shooting from Kakamega Showground. We had come to watch our feature game of the week, Cabras Sugar RFC versus Impala Saracens. And Cabras have been kind enough to let us shoot from here. As always, ever since the inception of the Three Quarters Podcast, we have always been about the game of 15s rugby, and therefore we ask you guys to support the Kenya Simbas. They're about to start their challenge as they try to earn us a spot at the Rugby World Cup in Japan in 2019. They're about to embark on their qualifiers. They start with Uganda at home, then Tunisia at home and Senegal at home. Then they're away in Bulawayo to Zimbabwe, and they wrap up the qualifiers against Namibia in Windhoek. It is as a result of that the Three Quarters Podcast have started the hashtag Road to Japan. Jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan. Let's support these boys. I'm sure you know someone. You know one of the guys who's playing in that 30-40 man squad. Send them a text, pat on their shoulder, tell them that we are behind them, because the truth and the fact of the matter is that these boys who represent Kenya at the Kenya Simba, rather these boys who represent Kenya in the Kenya Simbas in the 15th game, are actually the true superstars of rugby. This is Ignacio, official Noisemaker.
Jerry and Goose, Kenyana.
And today we are lucky to be joined by Kenya international and superstar scrum and Cabras Sugar, Edwin Achayo. Karibu Three Quarters Podcast.
Kenya 9.
So we'll start. K9. So we'll start with our bad man of the week from yesterday's game, Cabras Sugar versus Impala RFC. Goose, who do you think was your bad man of the week?
A bad man of the week?
Yeah.
It all started with this one man next to us. Bad guy.
Yeah?
Yeah, this guy really controlled the game. He was a marshal of the game, Jana, up until he got injured.
Yeah. He has a Kalim.
When guys seated down. He was really controlling he was in between the forwards and the backs.
Yes.
He controlled it really well, especially the first half when you guys you had the momentum. Now look, you're deep into it vizuri, and really I liked how you used your forwards vizuri. And then when it came to running the ball, especially in the half, the 22, backs wako nulikuwa nao vizuri sana. And then vile ulitoka nani took over. Walkerach. That guy from behind. Hey.
Yes.
You could see him. He was like he ended alikuwa anashikilia ana control the defense kwanza.
Exactly.
You could see him marshalling the defense.
Yes.
Vizuri, and that's why I think when Impala were getting to the 22, the pressure on them.
Yeah, true.
They kept on messing with they lacked the killer punch. Because of this guy akiambia watu. You could see him high balls.
Yes.
Very, very good on high balls. And his kicking was just excellent. The guy could carve the ball. 360.
Bend it like
Beckham. You always like Philip Walkerach because of his positioning. His rugby IQ is on another level. He plays the game effortlessly. So I do agree with you. Up until the 60th minute where Achayo got injured, you are the man. Then of course Walkerach finished up the game and he converted all but one of his kicks. So Philip Walkerach.
Hey, msada tusumbua.
Tutangoja tuone.
It's a big one. It's a big one. It was Baraza ashamwambia. Anamwambia wewe tuko pamoja hapa but Elgon nakukujia.
Hatujuani.
Which is good. Which takes us to the next part of this segment, which is the Rugby 101 segment. Ever since we started the podcast, we try demystify the whole game of rugby in Kenya. And this week we're talking about the rugby elections that are going to happen at the annual general meeting, 22nd March 2017. So basically, what happens during the elections is everyone is entitled to a two-year term. Two-year term. So basically a maximum of 4 terms. Then you have to leave. If you want to get re-elected, you'll have to come after another term is complete. We have the Kenya Cup sides having 2 votes and the nationwide and championship sides having 1 vote each. It's normally during the annual general meeting where it comes up for depending on how many terms you've served, then you either come up for re-election or you seize your term, or if a post runs vacant, then of course you have to elect a new director or chairman. So it will be prudent to note that the guys who are running for chairman, there's of course the incumbent Richard Omwela, who's seeking re-election. We have Pape Sembi, who's been sponsored by Western Bulls, and Alexander Sasha Mutai. who's been sponsored by Thika RFC and Embu RFC. We have the directors. Oscar Mango is seeking re-election. We have Ray Olendo of Cabras Sugar. We have Ezekiel Owor of Harlequins, Ian Mugambi of Black Blood, Boniface Salano of USIU, Sylvia Kamau of Strathmore, and Hilary Itella of Nondis. They are the guys who are going to be seeking election come the annual general meeting on 22nd of March 2017, which takes us to our next point. Achi, you being a player of the Kenya Simbas, whoever comes in, whoever is elected to serve on the KRU board for the next 2 years, what would you want to see change, and what do you think the players require?
I think the first thing, and I think this is very key, is they have to realize they're the management and we're the players.
Yes.
Whatever happens at the top should not trickle down and affect the players negatively.
Yes.
Because that's really what's been happening over the years. When you get players unsettled, unhappy, unsure, it's because the communication off the top is not good at the moment.
The politics trickles down.
The politics trickles down, and it shouldn't be that way. Regardless of anything,
the
game should be bigger than anyone else.
The game is bigger.
So we should be focused. Whether Sembi is in, Richard is in, Sasha is in. I should be thinking, I've got Namibia, I've got Zimbabwe. That should be my focus. But the biggest thing I want to change is I would like to see changes now. The exposure, especially refereeing and coaching. Refereeing and coaching, they should be more exposed because when you watch top level games, Super Rugby, English Premiership, everything, you realize there's a lot. There's a huge
gap.
Yeah, there's a huge gap. Right from the way referees are communicating and everything. And it's easy for me as a player to complain, but then you realize we are the same because he's not exposed. He's not been taken to a tournament in England for a week or something just to get So our referees, it's not that they are poor because they want to, but they've not been given the opportunity. The avenues to learn. And it's the same with our coaches. When was the last time we actually Kenya actually has coaches outside, learning and coming back, and it's actually trickling down. Jerome has been here from 2012. You can see the effect. And that's one guy.
So that's one guy.
That's one guy.
So Mike Friday was there in Sevens.
Exactly.
He saw what he did.
So you can imagine if you got like 12 guys, and they all maybe posted to some of the top clubs and stuff, and then it comes down. It
can improve the standards.
Exactly. And then more tests. More tests.
I mean, for me, I've always said, whoever comes in, whether it's the incumbent who stays, whether it's Pape Sembe, whether it's Sasha who comes in, it's what you've said, number one, the game is fast. You have to make sure that the boys and these players, the game is for the fans and the players.
Exactly.
Make sure these guys get their worth. So we can only hope that whoever comes in is going to listen to what us guys have been saying.
Because we can only hope.
The game cannot the game won't be there without the players. You need to take care of them, their welfare. As well.
Because I think we speak a lot on behalf of the fans and the players of the game. So we'll just have to wait and see how the election pans out and see what happens next. On to our next topic, Vancouver Sevens. Kenya Sevens went out in the Challenge Trophy against Samoa. Actually, what was your thought about the performance during the Vancouver Sevens?
Against Samoa, the whole tournament?
The whole tournament?
The whole tournament.
The whole tournament. Yes. Honestly, I just thought we could have done better. I felt like we're just playing like in flashes. We got games where we just step up. Which is really upsetting because when you see us stepping up in those games, it just shows you, it just proves we've got the quality and everything. And then when you see us misperforming in the game, you wonder why.
What just happened?
Why do we choose games? What happens in between? We cannot know.
Can we maintain the standards?
Yeah, exactly. We are not consistent. That's the thing. Look at the top sides: Boca, New Zealand,
England.
It's just consistency.
Remember the England game against the first pool game?
They played well. They played well. Defense.
A bit of mistakes with the officials, officiating. But the guys, you could see these guys can actually play well and get us to the semis, if not win the tournament.
It's a fact. New Zealand, I think a couple of seasons back, won the series without even winning all the major tournaments.
They
were just consistently in either the semi or the
finals.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just it.
Yeah. That's all you need.
That's all you need. Just to bring
And
it
we only,
picture,
like Vancouver, we only lost one match.
True.
Yeah.
True.
We drew with Argentina, lost the England. Actually, there's like 2 matches.
Yes,
we lost Samoa one
yes,
now.
yes.
Yeah, but those were just 2 matches. Las Vegas, we only lost once.
So yeah. Anyway, as you're saying, we don't. You question, as you're saying. Some games you're able to play well.
Yeah.
Some games,
Others.
but you don't take it away from the boys. It's frustrating. That's true. Six Nations Rugby. Ngusale, just give us a quick wrap up of the results yesterday.
Quick wrap up.
Yeah.
Scotland hosted Italy. Hey, they ramped them 29-0. France versus Wales. France came out on top 2018.
Yeah.
And then finally Ireland
Yes.
England.
Yes.
Winning streak 13-9.
Yes.
Yeah.
Therefore, blocking England
Yes.
from surpassing the All Blacks.
I don't have England.
Yes, yeah.
Just that record.
Yes, that record is now shared between England and New Zealand. But
Henson is happy.
Yes, Henson. Steve Hansen must be happy. So then the question begs, Archie, it is time then that England and New Zealand face off?
Yeah.
There's a need for
It
that.
is.
I think
Yeah.
But let me
rugby
tell you,
needs-
New Zealand are smart guys. New
Yeah.
Zealand are smart guys.
Yeah.
They usually like see things a step ahead. You know?
Yeah.
And that's why this whole year they are not facing England.
Yes.
Reason number one, they knew immediately after World Cup,
Yes.
they're going to have an exodus of players.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
The guys who can Richie
Kina
Mako,
Richie,
Dan
in a way
Carrier.
they're
So they need to
rebuilding.
rebuild.
Yes.
You are not going to play a top side when you're rebuilding.
Yes.
You need the new guys to get confidence.
Yes.
So they laying at England. They're laying at the top side.
Top side.
Yeah. So this year, so by the time they meet next year,
yeah.
and there's the Lions
tour is happening this
The
year.
Lions tour, they'll gauge. They'll say, okay, so this is where you are. Yeah. Now we are ready. You know, yeah.
Now we are ready for you guys. But I must say, and I've repeated this ever since the Six Nations began, I am really impressed with the way England are playing.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's not that boring rugby from England, you know.
It's true.
Boring English rugby.
Yeah, so you must be.
But why?
It's a
Why
bit-
is it? It's because of a foreign coach.
Yep.
Exactly.
It's a
It's
foreign
because of
coach.
Eddie Jones and a
Jones.
Southern Hemisphere coach.
Some flair, Kidogo.
It's a flair kidogo. Let me take you to the next topic. Super Rugby. We have our results. First game, the BNZ Crusaders beating the Blues.
Yes.
33-24.
Championship rugby.
Yes. Melbourne Rebels losing to Waikato Chiefs 14-27. The Bulls beating the Sunwolves 34-21. Team Ndogo usionge. Tafadhali. Hurricanes beating Highlanders 41-15. The Waratahs losing to the Brumbies 12-28. The Lions beating the Reds 44-14. The Sharks beating the Southern Kings 19-17. And the Jaguars beating the Cheetahs 41-14. We had the Western Force and the Stormers having a bye this weekend. It's also prudent to tell you right now that we have our 3/4 Super Rugby Fantasy League. The code is running right now at the bottom of the screen, of your screen. So make sure you form your team, join the fantasy, and let's see who's good in terms of management. Yeah. Any shocker in terms of of how the Super Rugby is panning out now?
I think the Kings gave a good account of themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, the Kings.
Yeah.
But I'm really impressed by the Sunwolves.
Yes. Yes.
If you compare them last season. with
Exactly.
this year.
Also the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Jaguares.
Yes. Also the Jaguars.
Any Argentina side at home.
Yes. They're difficult.
Yeah,
Difficult to
I also want to say that I'm shocked that Crusaders have started well, but
Yeah.
Crusaders are just sneaking this
Yeah, I
team.
mean, you know.
at the end of the day, you won.
We've got a young squad, you know, without Doug, Tamani Valu, Dick Biaroni.
Yes.
Reed is not even back yet.
Yes.
So, you know, it's trouble. It's trouble when they get back.
That's good, man. Episode 16, part 2 of the 3/4 podcast. You just heard about us guys talking about everything Super Rugby, everything international rugby, as well as the elections. As always, we ask you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram. Content comes thick and fast from the 3/4 podcast. This is Ngashi Official Noisemaker.
Jerry Goose, Kenyana.
Stay tuned for part 3.